Kia ora e te whānau. Welcome to the Kopu Temple of the Blue Diamond. So beautiful to have you here on this gorgeous Venus day. It's so sunny outside and we've been having the most incredible weather today. A little bit windy, but yeah, it's definitely a lot warmer. I'm dressed very lightly here. So I just wanted to tune in to you all, and I'm going to do a little karakia and a cleansing in a minute. It's time to go a little bit deeper on some of our journeying today. We've been wanting to speak into some of the ancient teachings, and in particular around Lemuria and Mu. Sorry, some people in our group are having a little bit of trouble coming in, so I'm just going to let them, tune them in. And you may have to watch the replay, whānau, so good to get the link already just in the nick of time. So I'm just going to do a little karakia and cleansing ceremony. So e te atua, te ao marama, te whare wānanga o te maraikura, te whare tapu o te taimana kahurangi, tēnei mātou e kāranga nei. Kia tau mai te aroha, te rangimārie, me te maramatanga, whakatōkia, te kaha, te maia, me te marawara. Manawa nui. Hei kaha mō mātou e tēnei hui. Kia tutuki ai nā moimoi a, I rote te aroha me te kotahitanga. E nā wai roa katoa. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Maranga mai te wairoa. Ne. What a beautiful little cat right here. She loves hanging out with me. My temple cat. And I'm just going to go and do a little bit of a cleansing this space. Something that I've typically done for every single temple that we've ever had. Yeah, just making sure that I have the right ahi ka medicine, which for me, I like to use the Palo Santo. Some people like to use sweetgrass or kare too. Some people like to use white sage, or actually even spraying's quite good. You can spray, but I love to use the Palo Santo, so cleansing our fields above us, below us, before us, and behind us, within us, and without us. Kia ora, beautiful Claire. Welcome, sister. Yes, it's a busy day out there. People are getting a little bit of sun, I guess, and it's still quite light outside. So, wanting to really tune into the frequency of this week. It's been an interesting week for me. I've actually been convalescing for the first few days, and I felt like I needed to get my equilibrium, come back very gently and slowly, and rise from this energy that's kept me a little bit stuck for a little bit, but I needed it as well. I really needed to rest. I was actually exhausted. I've just been on the go, and did that big liver detox, which actually, on some level, it actually gave me a reset in my whole system. And so the moment I started eating back normally, which was probably a little bit soon, I then got a little bit of a reaction. So Here's our Lemurian cat, Luna. Luna, the Lemurian priestess pussy. So this is her in her divine glory. And sorry, my dog. I should have put her away. She is can be a little bit of a pesty when it comes to this kind of thing. So you'll have to excuse the noise in the background. I wanted to speak into the temple and the sorts of things that we're offering here. So we have actually just created this beautiful elixir, the blue diamond elixir, and this is it here. And I have been using it for the last few weeks, but I'm just recommending for all of those who have actually done some work. Oh my goddess. There's a little budgie that's just been found, and I think that there's there is some perhaps some expectation that we would be looking after it. So yeah, I will go and sort that out shortly. But in the meantime, there's a couple of things I just wanted to share. For those that have been on the journey, having one of these is going to be part of our toolkit to assist with creating your own version of the waters as well. So these are the mother waters, and you basically only need about 3 drops to make a baby water with it. And also these are going to help with our own maintenance and also the waterways around us. So they're helping to give the ripple effect to those of our family members and within our own body temples. These are the sacred waters to be using. So going back to Lemuria, one of the most potent timelines on the planet. This is what we actually have come back for. We've come back to experience this Lemurian consciousness. It is a frequency and a vibration, and it's very magnetic as well. So it's quite a feminine approach. It was definitely more a feminine energy that is about nurturing plants and nurturing of nature. So, hi, Han. I'm just doing a live temple.
Okay. Can I give the budgie to you quickly? What should I do with it?
Can I come and see you after I've finished my live temple?
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm on YouTube right now.
Okay, no worries.
I'll come see you then. So, going back to Lemuria, Aotearoa was one of the main portals for holding that frequency. And kia ora, Helen, kia ora, Nats. So great to see you all. I'd met a beautiful wahine a few years ago now whose grandfather or great-grandfather was actually one of the guardians of the ancient Lemurian sacred secrets. And, they kept all these things under lock and key, including one of the ancient maps. But she did show it to us when she came over to New Zealand. She disclosed a little bit of information to us. And the information that she disclosed was, she revealed this map to us. It's a little bit faded. It's very old. And it shows where all of the land masses once all fitted together like a big jigsaw puzzle. So all of these factions had all separated, but they were all called Mu or Lemuria. And then bits started splitting off. South America split off. The Asiatic line split off. Australia was one of the biggest plates that split off, and actually I think it was one of the first ones that split away. And what remained was a massive continent that basically was the shape of a stingray. It looked very much like a thigh. And so, yeah, we had the tail of the stingray all through basically the Indonesian area and all around Papua New Guinea. That was all the ancient temples of Mu, and that's why you get all those beautiful big temples over in places like Bali, the water temples. And as soon as I went there, I was like, oh my God, I'm here in Lemuria. It just was a memory awakening. So we just so happened to be in the location of where the last remnants were. And at one point, it actually broke away again and became Te Whiki or Te Muturangi, which is yet another landmass that was, having these big troughs, these Kermadec troughs that go all the way up to New Caledonia and all the way through to Fiji and Tonga. And they also have the Sphinx locations on those points, on the 0-point location of Kiribati, Christmas Islands, and I think Tonga is there as well. So, yeah, there's a conjunction there, which is very important to note. And so, the consciousness that was about the civilization was very etheric. There was a lot of healing technology that they would use, a lot of heart intelligence. They were also learning how to work with the earth's intelligence, and also its interconnection with the whole cosmos. So these were really the magicians. They could weave through the dream time. I believe the last remaining and the most, sort of secured energies and mastery of the Lemurian technologies is our origines from Ahitereiria, from Australia, in the land of Te Whenau Te Moemoeā. So there's definitely something about that location, the people, the frequency, the technology that was once used as well. And there was also a big land bridge between South Africa and Australia that, linked into India, that was all connected into one big mass as well. Just got smaller and smaller as we progressed. So, yeah, that's just in terms of the location and the frequency that was omitted. And this was a worldwide civilization. It was what this planet actually originally, one of the most potent imprints that we had. And because we were more etheric in nature, we hadn't properly physicalized. We were still quite lucid beings. And, sometimes we call these, we see them sometimes because all timelines exist at the same time, right? And we will see like a lucid being, which can sometimes look a little bit like a ghost. So, yeah, would love to hear what your thoughts are around Lemuria and what your own experiences are, because these are also about gathering information and sharing stuff that we're all familiar with. The other thing that I wanted to speak into is the location of what we have today as Te Whananui-a-Kiwa, and that is the space between Aotearoa, Easter Island and Hawaii. There's a big triangle, Pacific Triangle, and we call it Te Whananui-a-Kiwa. And what that is, what I was shown it was, is a Lemurian triangle. So that's where the mother frequencies was held and protected. When I did my studies around the continent of Mu, of the ancient cities, the lost cities of Lemuria, so I've been doing a little bit of research, and some fascinating things have actually been highlighted in some of these books. This is David Hatcher Childress and Frank Joseph. So James Churchwood as well, who was actually a big researcher. And the information that's come through from this research is that once upon a time, there was a huge big continent called Lemuria, and slowly it got smaller and smaller. It had millions of people on it, but different global events actually created problems on there. So, for example, the mud flood and the flood and, various different things like that actually made the landmass smaller and smaller till eventually it wasn't safe for them to be there. And also this was the rise of the Atlantean experiment and the things that the priest kings were doing in terms of their technologies that they were starting to play with that were actually starting to affect the equilibrium of the earth. In fact, one of the great experiments was the reason why the continent collapsed, the gas belts collapsed on the Ring of Fire. Also, well, that's one of the theories, but also the potential of that, the waves that came over, the tidal waves that came over and washed over all the land and basically took it all out. What we're seeing today is the remnants of the Himalayas of Aotearoa. Beneath us is this huge continent, the 8th continent on the planet, which is actually quite massive. It's probably about half the size of Australia, if not the whole size of Australia. And there's also a lot of deep history around there. There's a lot of fossils and even alien artifacts under the sea, like lots of ancient Mu temples around here that had sunk and now, they're only accessible from, if you're a diver. So there's a lot of information, and one of the things that it talked about in this book is when one of the big warnings came in for the big great flood, there was a warning to basically put all the sacred information into the four corners of the earth. And that's one of the reasons why the Nakal tablets went to different locations. Some went to Tibet, some went to India, some went to South America, and some went to Egypt. And interesting, because when I went to the workshop around Lemuria and we were talking about the map, the woman who was delivering it shared with us that there were codes that were anchored in certain vibrational tones and for example, in the language of Reo, the language itself has become such high vibration, the original tongue, that they imprinted some codes into the Reo language. So the Reo is carrying the codes, the Mu codes, the true Mu codes. And in the hula, the dance, the figure 8 and the lemon skate, there's more codes that have been anchored. So codes got anchored in both the body, temple of the top part of Te Maunanui Kiwa, and the lower part, we got anchoring in the sound frequency of our reo, of our language. So it's quite important to note, because, you know, the other thing about the Pacific Triangle is we were one of the last cultures on the whole planet that was actually a matriarchal culture. We used to really worship the feminine. In fact, all land used to be passed down to the feminine because she was the living covenant. She is what gives birth to the whānau, the hapu and the whenua. And when we give birth to these trees of life that end up being the whenua, the land itself. So we're basically giving birth to land. And we were upheld in these very high positions, and the women were the leaders as well. It was done through the heart. It was done through the grandmother's wisdom. This is what the Waitaha whānau have actually continued the tradition of, and that's one of the reasons why the Waitaha are one of the last remnants of our spiritual, social way of being through this, you know, the Lemurian way. They hold the last memory of what it means to be this way, to work with nature in this deeper kind of esoteric wisdom, yeah, that is coming through from within, and it's coming through the feminine and the feminine guidance, who is very intuitive. And the other thing about what happened with Atlantis is that they messed around so much with the technology that they actually busted the feminine grid. They collapsed it. And that's one of the reasons why we've had a lot of turmoil. We've had a lot of visitation from other cults and other dimensional beings that have actually wreaked a bit of havoc on this planet. So yeah, this is us now reclaiming those magical parts of who we used to be before we got so dense, before we became so physical that we no longer had the freedom to just be able to manifest and dissolve and create such high vibrancy and potency. So yes, whānau, that's glad to be sharing this. Yes, and also in the light language, kia ora. Yeah, light language is a lot of our light language can be named Lemurian light language. So Anha's a master at Lemurian light language. So yeah, she's got it down in terms of supporting on that level. What else is there to share around that? Oh yes, we also have here in Aotearoa, we have a big Lemurian ley line that goes all the way through, basically, Whakaari, all along the coastline up here through the ancient Kermadecks, which is all crystalline temples, and especially up here in the Coromandel. We are deeply immersed and entrenched with this wisdom in this whenua. So I am extremely honoured to be continuing to work with this energy. Something that came to me a few years ago when I was working at the Prana Festival. I had been chosen as one of their healers, and I'd gone there. And anyway, I had this huge download when I was down in this kind of clearing area, and there was a big transmission that took place. All these Lemurian beings turned up. I got all these downloads, and next minute I've got this huge sequence on how to do this body intelligence stuff. So I started working with these Lemurian codes, and honestly, some amazing healing took place. I'd love to share them again in the future. But interesting, because when I was telling a friend about what happened to me with these Lemurians, because literally like a whole band of them turned up, and some of them were like Māori chiefs, and one of them was actually a huge big being. He was like 13 feet tall. He was like a blue colour, had blue skin, like luminescent skin, very muscular. And, he's a giant. And he told me his name was Tama. So, yeah, very powerful being. He assisted and guided me on our journey with the body work, the body temple stuff. And I still use him as a kaitiaki, so he's still there and amongst all my team that love to work with me. Also, what else happened there? Oh, yeah, this friend of mine who lived on the land, she was telling me about this huge giant that came out of the water one day, and it even had these giant footsteps, which she took photos of. So that particular area was completely enveloped in this Lemurian energy, and these giants were coming in and out of doorways. So there's something to be said about that. And it's actually just over by Ohui, Whangamata area. There's a lot of beautiful, powerful places over these ways in the Coromandel. So that's probably a couple of other things just before we close on the topic of Lemuria. There's, over in Easter Island, when I was doing my studies around all the various different locations around the planet, they talked about these ancient Lemurian technologies that are all around the planet, and including the temples and including the pyramids. The pyramids are a technology. And one of the various technologies they have is that over in just off the coast of Indonesia, there's a whole lot of places and spaces that have certain types of eel, like electrical eels, and they've got caverns and everything that actually support the capacity for them to swim through different locations and help keep the equilibrium of the planet. Even over in Easter Island, which is also known as the Pito of the planet, so it means it's actually the umbilical cord of the planet. They've got different caverns with moray eels, electric eels that actually, when certain things happen, when certain lightning goes off underneath in the water, it allows the equilibrium of the planet to be intact. And there's multiple places all around that have actually got those same sort of setups. So these were specific locations chosen in the ancient Lemurian territory that facilitated that. There was also a land bridge in Sri Lanka, between Sri Lanka and India, which has actually got an ancient temple on it called Hawaii Nui. And so we are, discovering all these ancient tongas that are here for our remembering, to remind us that we actually are our ancestors, and we are now remembering. So, we've just mortalized into these really dense skin suits, but we are dissolving as well. And that's part of what our journey is all about. That's part of us receiving our Kemetic codes, is learning how to work with the dissolution, spiraling up, dissolving, and creating something new, coming into the new spectrum of light and lightening up as well. So we're going to do some interviews on here coming up on our temples. We'll get other people in. I can most definitely, if any of you would love to come and join in on kōrero and conversation with us, certainly let me know, and I can coordinate things so you can just, by the click of a button, come in and we can have a bit of a kōrero, because I would really love to have your feedback as well on how we are weaving these temple spaces. Come on, puss. Now, I have been asked to read a card today. And see which one resonates with the old Lemurian stuff. Okay, and I've got a beautiful cat called Manawa. Okay, here we go. Ooh. Number 42, eel. Determination. Water child of the West. Tuna. Okay. I am Tuna, tiny child of the ocean wide, who knows the law of the flowing tide, small creature of an ancient stream, who understands the forgotten dream. Wayward spirit of courage born, who explores the waters of the dawn. I am determination. Born in the deep ocean in realms of mystery, the newly hatched eel called tuna sets forth on the great circle that calls into being the fullness of its life. Carried by the ocean currents that sweep across the wildest waters, tiny tuna comes to the ancestral rivers that carry the rains from the land. Changes tuna's challenge, leaving the salt waters of the sea for the sweet waters of the land. Tuna swims strongly against the flow of the river to reach the hinterlands in search of the source. This is no easy journey when the flow is good. Tuna savors the swirling pools and an abundance of food. But when rain fails and all is dry, it leaves the river to slither over the land to find other waters. When waterfalls block the way, it climbs the wet walls of stone with determination to honour this journey. Forging ever onward, tuna grows strong within the embrace of the land, and as its days gather to an end, answers the call to return to the ocean waters of its birthing. It gives its seed to the continuance. This is the circle brought to completion. Tuna enters your life at a significant moment. It brings all you are into the wondrous realm of the west wind. the place where we pause to reflect upon our journey. This is the burning ground of life, where everything we have gathered along the way is tested for its place in the season to come. No tuna is with you as you travel through your story to see what might now be set aside. Also remember, water sustains you in the West. Its cleansing virtues wash away the detritus of the past to let you go freely into tomorrow. Understanding born of truth hidden long provides the power to carry you forward. Commitment is now your friend on the long trail, and with it comes the determination and courage to see you through. When you are in harmony with your uniqueness, nothing can stop you from attaining your dreams. Tuna announces the quickening, the return of ancient knowledge that is your birthright. Sacred law lost to many in this age of separation, but awaits your call. What seemed gone can be recovered, for you are now of the realm of the seer. Hope is ever your companion and friend. Tuna opens the way, affirms the journey, and says that while obstacles await the traveller, they are but small steps on the ladder of learning. When you are clear about who you are free to move forward with determination. Tuna knows and remembers. You know, and the only need to remember. Great strength comes from following the excitement deep within your being. It is of the remembering, and it is guiding us back to the inner realms of knowing. It reveals our purpose and gives to us life anew. Find strength in your song, hidden far too long. Seek within the flame that bears your name. Dream your dream and follow the magic stream. That was like perfect to hear that. Don't know about you guys, but it was a good follow on from the Lemurian stuff, I think. Also feel like the Lemuria and the Lemurian way now is to come into sacred union with all cultures, that we are part of the oneness, that we're bringing back together all of the tribes, and we're recognizing and remembering that we are those tribes. They are within us. I want to invite us to do a chamber together. And we're going to call in the ancient way of Lemuria, calling in that magical stream, the magical river that runs between dimensions, between time, space, between us and our higher selves. And it's part of the dissolution of this density. So inviting us to take a deep breath, and when we do our B sounds, I'm going to get you to put the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth and begin to just sound with the B tone. The B tone as in the buzzy bee. Yeah, so inviting us all to come into center and invoking the sacred intention of us embodying this Lemurian consciousness, this Lemurian way of being, of the Ra Ngāti Ra, of us coming into sacred union with self, with our higher self, with our magical self. And may this chamber connect in with every other chamber on this planet and every other planet in the cosmos. And may it align and intensify and amplify these intentions. And so it is. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. It is so. Oh. Kia ora, my beautiful whānau of light. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming and joining us today. And thank you for those watching the replay. Appreciate you. And yeah, come and join us on this 444 alignment. It is working with the first light frequencies. It's working with the sovereign codes of Te Kōti, working with those blue diamond frequencies, and activating these incredible prophecies that are here to free humanity. Thank you, my beloveds. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day, the evening, and thank you. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Nat. Thank you, Helen. Thank you to all of those who haven't put anything in the chat, and you're welcome to put some more stuff in there around, especially around Lemuria. Anything else that you may have had insights around, we'd love to hear you share a little bit more around that. And yeah, there's of course a lot more to know. I just gave the real brief explanation of it. There's a lot of information in these books. There's a lot of details that are out there in general, and there's a lot of people who do work with Lemuria. I always hold Lemuria very close to me. I find that this is where I feel we're all heading back to anyway. So yeah, it makes sense that we're starting to talk about it now, and especially coming up to this big water festival that's happening next month. We have the Matsuru Water Festival over in Japan that we are also sending prayers and blessings to, and I've created a water blessing. Actually, I did it primarily for Veda Austin, but I actually also have translated it into Māori, or had it translated into Māori, and I want to do them as kind of, special tributes to the waters. And I sort of feel like I'd like to disclose them to those people's, perhaps not right now, but I will disclose those to the Water Festival people because I want to share it with them, but I also want to share it with Veda Austin as well to help her on her journey throughout Aotearoa and to gift her with these karakias, which are waiata, which are support for sharing the blessings of these beautiful mother waters that are here for us to transmute with at this time. Very powerful. So far now, just closing off the space, thanking everybody for your participation today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And journey well this weekend. I'm actually off to celebrate with my Papa Bear. It's Father's Day this weekend here in Aotearoa, and going to be travelling and spending a little bit of time with my siblings. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and blessings to you all. Bye for now.